Hey y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that like button. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget I'm coming to you guys every single day until I hit 10K. So if you guys want to help me out, I would appreciate it. Alrighty, so we are standing in one of the older apple blocks here on our farm, and it's a bit toasty this morning. It's 27 degrees outside, and it's a perfect opportunity to talk to you guys about what time of year is perfect to start pruning your fruit trees. So I had one or two people ask, and then, you know, just looking on YouTube and seeing what other people are saying, and, you know, us that were not, we're a semi-commercial orchard where you pick operation, but we do have quite a bit of trees. We don't have one or two trees in your backyard, so, you know, for us, we have to prune thousands of trees a year, you know. And I watched some videos on YouTube, and, you know, people were talking that you know, explaining what they were doing. You know, they had a few fruit trees in the backyard, which is totally fine, it's perfect. But I want to go ahead and give you guys our perspective here from a more of a, you know, semi-commercial operation, you know, where we have more than one or two trees. We got, you know, by the time we get done pruning the year, we get prune thousands of trees at a time. And now with the high density system, you know, we do that on a per acre basis. So anyways, this is the oldest producing block here on our farm. These trees are planted in the early 2000s, I think either 2000 or 2001. This is our Gala and Jonathan block, and then we have some Grimes Golden in this block as well, and, you know, different varieties of each variety in here as well. But as you can see, these trees are on a semi-dwarfing rootstock. These are on a either M111 or M26, and I'll show you guys a size difference in the trees. They're planted at the exact same time. So these taller ones back here, these are M7 rootstock. They're semi-dwarfing rootstock. And as you can see, they're not 30-foot tall. And, you know, the way you keep your trees at a good, decent size is either through the rootstock or through pruning. So I'm going to explain that, and then later on, and whenever we get started pruning, later on in the winter, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys in more in depth of pruning. But today's video, I'm just talking about the perfect time of year to start pruning. So this tree right here, this is a Jonathan on an M26 rootstock, and it's just as old as those trees over there. But look how small this tree is. It's probably 7 foot tall, and then just a wide branch. So these trees on a more of a, you know, if you're planting acres and acres of this M26, you're probably planting this 7 feet apart, because there's, I mean, another tree or two trees could fit in here. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, we bought this orchard in 2013, so the previous owner had planted this orchard beforehand, so we're just maintaining and running it. Alrighty, so the time of year we start pruning trees, as you guys know, we grow a lot of different fruits here on the farm and a lot of different other crops. And for us, pruning is a big deal, but, you know, we start pruning right around the new year. And the reason is, if we don't start early enough, you know, it's just myself and Adrian, and, you know, maybe I will teach Isaac this year. So there's just 3 of us pruning. There's not too many people out here because, you know, first of all, as you guys know, farmers during the winter, there's not much coming in, so you can't really hire and pay someone out of pocket. So I mean, it gets, you know, you go more detail about that. But then we like to prune the trees to our standards. So, you know, if I'm out here, I'm 100% guaranteed that I'm going to prune it right. But if you hire someone, then you got to teach them and train them, so it's going to take a lot longer time. But like I said, just us 3 boys, we come out here and prune the trees. So we start pruning, you know, in years past we started pruning about, you know, about this time of year, about the 1st of December. But, you know, we're super busy this time of year with the starting the tomatoes and whatnot and doing that. So this year we're gonna go ahead and start pruning these apple trees about the 1st of the year, about 1st of January. And, you know, you can start pruning your the trees as soon as all the leaves fall off the tree here. So as you guys can see here on these trees here, there's a few leaves still on these trees, you know. So, but they're, I mean, a nice big windstorm, these will fly off from the frost, and the trees are going dormancy. Now, this time of year, you go ahead and see, you know, the flower buds, and how many, you know, you can kind of project your yield for next year, I mean, weather permitting. So, you know, once the leaves start falling off the apple trees, you go ahead and start pruning. But then again, if you get more into a commercial-based orchard where they're doing hundreds of acres, in some instances thousands of acres, you know, they bring in a lot of workers through the H2A program, and for them, you know, they go home over the winter. So a lot of those commercial farmers, the instant they're done harvesting, they start pruning, even though there's a bunch of foliage still on the tree. You know, for them, if they don't get started that early, they got so many, you know, they got hundreds and hundreds of acres of trees that if they don't start pruning at that time, they'll never get done in the spring. So, you know, the best time is whenever the trees is 100% in dormant. preferably more towards the spring, because if you do get any winter injury or cold damage, then you can kind of prune that out. But I'll talk to more about that more on the peach side of the farm. But on the apples are still pretty, I mean, they're really cold tolerant. You won't start seeing dead limbs or anything unless it gets like -30, -40 degrees. So with apples, they're still pretty tolerant, so that you go ahead and start pruning them as long as all the leaves start falling off. So real quick before I jump into the peaches, I want to go ahead and show you guys these high density apple system. And one thing I noticed about the high density apples is on the dwarfing rootstocks, completely dwarfing rootstocks, they like to hold on to their leaves a lot longer than the traditional orchard does. And you can see here, I mean, the frost hit the same time. These are 2-year-old trees, so they've grown nicely in their second year. A lot of them did hit that top wire, and we're expecting a really good crop next year. So these are Fuji here on a Geneva 41. Look how many flower buds are on these limbs here. So I mean, of course, we got to come through, trim them up nicely, and kind of cut off some of the wood that is being obnoxious, kind of like this. Fuji is one of the hardest varieties to grow in this high density system, just because it's so vigorous that if you're not controlling the vigor with the fertilizers and just a complete maintenance on the high density system, you get a lot of this stuff right here. And I really didn't do that good of a job. You get a lot of this 4-foot branches here that there's the thickness of that branch there's already too big for the system. So that's we kind of already lost that much growth, because I got to cut it out anymore, so it's not going to be producing us that much fruit. So either I'm going to tie them down or cut them out. This one's just too big. Got to come through and tie some more of these down. But look at all these flower buds here on this high density system on these Fuji. So we don't start pruning these high density systems until later on in the spring, probably February, March, or even earlier than that, just because we know this next spring we're going to go ahead and plant another 1,800 apple trees. So we're doing that before strawberry season, which strawberry season is going to start about the middle of April this year. So we got a lot of work, pruning and everything, and then we got to finish her up. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys here the high density system, and they hold on to the leaves a lot longer than the traditional system. But just look at these right here. This is a Liberty here on a G41. Look how many flower buds everywhere. So it's gonna be a good crop next year. Alrighty, standing out here in our 3-year-old peach trees, and these have gone bonkers this season. I mean, with plenty of fertilizer and water, these things are growing. So the peaches, we're expecting our first crop out of these young trees for the first time next spring. We're hoping that this year to see a light crop off them, but the frost kind of got them all. So these trees have been growing real nice. But with peaches, we don't start pruning the trees up until about middle of March, just because they're so sensitive to cold frost, especially in this area. And depending on different varieties, the buds or the limbs can be very sensitive to the cold weather. So we don't start pruning them. These are the last crop we prune here on the farm, just because if you prune them pretty harsh during the winter, and then they go ahead and they break bud early, and then you get a spring frost, and you kind of wasted all your you kind of killed your own crop with your own hands. So a lot of times we don't start pruning them until we start seeing the bud swelling, or the actual the tips of the flower buds, just because we know that time that it's already too warm and we can't really do much about to stop the weather. But if peaches, if it gets down to 7 or 0 degrees, or even in the negatives, then you could potentially on some varieties see some cold damage. So like I said, we don't start pruning our peaches for quite some time. We just let them sit here, and the leaves on these trees started falling off about the middle of September. Late October, all these leaves are already off the trees. They just start turning yellow and start falling off, because peaches, they are a summer crop. So summer crops, they start doing that pretty early. So yep, these are gonna be a good looking crop of peaches next year. So I don't know if you guys remember whenever we planted these trees this past spring, but if you guys go back, or I might just link that video in the top of the description here. It's like everything you must know about planting peaches or something like that. But these are just itty bitty twigs when we got them from the nursery, and just look how much they have grown. I'm 6'4", so this is 5 foot of growth, where the tree's at 5 foot since we planted it. So, and they're all pretty, it's very consistent here in this block back here, these last few rows. And this variety right here, it's called M1, so it's a hybridized version of the Crest Haven. So we're excited, to see how this peach works out for us. It's supposed to hold the peach on the tree a lot longer than the actual Crest Haven. And Crest Havens are just a really good variety, and really good sweet variety, easy to grow variety in this area. And if this is better, then we have we hope to have really good luck with this. But I mean, just the tree size in 1 year, I mean, they broke bud somewhere like down there, and look how much they've grown in 1 season. So that is pretty awesome. So you guys stay tuned and see how these progress. Hopefully next year we should be able to get these trees to 8 or 9 foot tall if we have plenty of moisture, plenty of fertilizer. And then I want to go ahead and crop these, you know, Lord willing, in the third year. So go ahead and see an early crop off these. But we'll see. That's the goal of peaches. You want to grow out the tree in the first and second year, the whole entire, you know, all the leaves and all the wood and all the branches that fill out that tree canopy. And then in the third season, go ahead and crop it for the first time. And I've seen some orchards with, you know, irrigation, non-irrigation, and the ones that had irrigation over the summer just went ballistic. So, you know, we water these and fertilize these pretty heavily over the summer. So as you can tell here, it's been great success with these. So yeah, stay tuned and see how these trees progress. This is pretty much it for today. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button, go in and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, I'm coming to you guys every single day until I hit 10K. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and watching up to this point. You guys have a good day, and we will see you in the next one.